Shalom, shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
How's everybody doing?
Good.
Good. Bless. All praise to the Most High. All praise to the Most High. Ahaya, Bahashem Yeshaya, Wa Rawak. For those who do not know the Hebrew, that is the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Okay? I'm Bishop Taz of the House of Judah International Fellowship Church with the presiding elder, Elder Nathaniel Allah. And today we're going to be going into a lesson that is entitled, Where is the Power of the Meek? Where is the power of the meek? Okay. First and foremost, we want to say welcome back, everyone. It's always good to be back on our regularly scheduled program. So it's good to be back. Last week we got a chance to meet with the leadership in West Africa, Sierra Leone, our body in Freetown, Sierra Leone. Everything is going really well there. And we have plans for not only expanding there and getting some things set up there, but expanding to the neighboring countries. So West Africa, we're coming. Prepare yourselves. We will be there very, very soon.
New Zealand as well. We're coming. There's a huge demand for brothers and sisters for baptisms out there in New Zealand. All right. So everything is about spreading the word. There's a lot of areas where we have to get to, a lot of people that we need to go see, and we're excited to do that. And we're glad that you guys are ready and prepared for us to do that as well, because there's a lot of work that we got to do in a lot of places.
That's right. So baptism, right? Baptisms. If you are interested in becoming part of the church and you're in the Central Florida area, please go to our website right there, houseofjudahfellowship.org. Make sure that you go there and go to contact us. Send a message to the elder that says baptism - your location. Okay, we need to know where we need to get to and when. Obviously, the more people there are in one area, those are the areas that are going to get priority. Okay, so if you're in this area, make sure that you reach out to us directly. Put Central Florida, and we'll make sure that we get you guys baptized soon. I believe we have one that's happening on July. In July. Okay. And for those who are international, same thing. Go to the website, put in where you are, the country you're in, the city and the town, and we'll make sure that we add that to the list of places where we need to get to. Okay. We have our Cash App here above our head for those who would like to send tithes and donations to the church. This work does cost money. Everything that we do, the lights we turn on, the streaming service we use, everything costs, right? So every bit of support that we can get from you guys is a blessing. We appreciate all of those who have been supporting. All praise to the Most High for that. For those who are donating internationally, some areas around the world do not have Cash App. So for those who would like to give tithe or donate, go to the House of Judah Fellowship, fellowship.org. Go to the website and send a message saying donate or tithe - your location, and we'll get you the necessary information to let you know how you can donate or send your tithes. Okay. Last thing is we will begin streaming our weekly lessons on the website here. So make sure that you go to the website and get registered there for when we start doing that, because you guys know what it is. We get a lot of strikes, a lot of things we can't say now over YouTube without getting struck or getting some kind of whatever put on it. So eventually we will be transitioning to streaming directly to our website. So get with that as well. And we're also working on streaming through Instagram as well. So make sure that you go there and check that out as well. We're going to try to get as many avenues to get this word out as possible so that we can reach as many people as possible. Okay. So we're at the 5-minute mark. Do you have any announcements? Anything?
I think you covered
it out there. Okay. Yeah. Perfect. So now we can jump into today's lessons. Get your pen and pad out. There's going to be some pertinent information that you guys are going to want to keep track of. Okay. Be prepared to take some notes. All right. Today's lesson: where is the power of the meek? Where is the power of the meek? All right. So we know that the scriptures, when we're reading throughout the scriptures, especially as it pertains to the last days, the Bible constantly speaks of the triumph of the meek, right? We see that constantly. The question is,
Why is that? Does anybody in here, or does anybody in the chat have any idea of what meekness is? Can someone give me a definition of what it means to be meek?
To be meek is like to be mild-mannered, quiet, kind of reserved.
Mm-hmm. That's a part of anybody else? Mm-hmm. That's a good definition. What you got?
Like gentle.
Gentle. Okay. So all of those are correct definitions, but those qualities aren't going to get you into the kingdom of heaven. They're good qualities to have. They're necessary qualities, but none of those get you a pass into the kingdom of heaven, right? We're going to get the definition or the character traits of meekness so that we can understand fully what this is, right? So we see a constant theme throughout the scriptures from Genesis to Revelation and all the books in between of the Most High utilizing the men who had the characteristics of meekness for positions of leadership, right? The Most High, for any given task, any authoritative position, any position of leadership, they exemplified the uncommon characteristic of meekness, right? But we also understand that with that meekness, you had men who exemplified meekness such as Zephaniah. But Zephaniah wasn't by any means a gentle man, nor was a man like Jeremiah silent. Right? All of these are characteristics of someone who is meek, but it's not meekness, the essence of meekness in and of itself. Many do not have a clear understanding of this word and its attributes. The reason why this is all too important, why this characteristic is so important, is because it determines whether or not the Most High via the Holy Spirit is willing to work within you. Because without possessing meekness, it's impossible for him to work within you. Right?
Right.
It's like hiring somebody to clean up the inside of your house, but you won't unlock the doors. It's like, yeah, I need you to come in and clean the house. And they leave all the doors locked. And it's like, well, hey, I'm here at the house. I need you to unlock it, right?
I'm not sure if it's in the
We're gonna get to it. To be meek means to be humble and willing to obey instruction from someone in an authoritative position. To be meek is not to be without confidence. I'm going to say that again. To be meek is not to be without confidence. Confidence is essential to being meek. Confidence is not to think of yourself higher or outside of what you are. I'm going to say that again. Confidence is not to think of yourself higher in higher regard or outside of what you are. Confidence requires self-observation. Confidence is honest. Confidence is rather being at peace, believing in, and having a firm trust in who you are. It's having peace, belief, and firm trust in who you are. Synonyms of meek are forbearing, meaning having self-control, humble, submissive, docile. Now, how many of you hear that word docile and automatically give it a negative connotation? Right? Because it's a negative word. But when you actually look at the definition of what docile means, it means to accept control or instruction. It means to accept control or instruction. So it can be negative, but the characteristic itself, as it pertains to what we're talking about, is a necessity. Antonyms of meek are disobedient, unyielding.
How many of you know what unyielding means? Unbending, not willing to give way to pressure. Impertinent. Impertinent means not showing proper respect. Uninhibited, meaning without restraint.
Mm-hmm.
These are all opposite characteristics of meekness. So we see that the prophets, prophets that carried that meekness, that characteristic of meekness, they had self-control. They were humble, they were submissive, and they were docile. Where they needed to be. Where they needed to be. And we'll show you where they need to be. To be meek is to understand the power that you have, while it's understanding the power that you don't have. Say one more time. Write this down. To be meek is to understand the power you have, whilst also understanding the power you don't have. Put a 1 in the chat if you're following me here. Knowing what is in and outside of your control. Remember, we talked about this. We talked about this before the lesson. You guys are going to see how this ties in. Knowing what is in and outside of your control. It means understanding the authority we have and don't have, then acting accordingly. I'm going to say that again. It means understanding the authority we have and don't have and acting accordingly. Let's get 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 26.
1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 26. For ye see your calling, brethren, how that not many wise men after the flesh, not many mighty, not many noble are called.
So he's saying men of standard, men of worldly standard, right? Who, according to this world, have some level of knowledge, wisdom, power. The Most High doesn't call them. Read.
Verse 27. But God hath chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise.
He's chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise. Because even the simplest of understandings, we don't understand. As a people, we don't. We can't begin to comprehend what was going on in the mind of the Most High when he created the universe. Read.
And God hath chosen the weak things of the world to confound the things which are mighty.
Read.
And base things of the world and things which are despised have God chosen.
He's chosen the things that everyone's despised. That's what he's chosen. Read.
Yea, and things which are not, to bring to naught things that are.
He said, and things that are not, to bring to naught things that are. Read.
That no flesh should glory in his presence.
That no flesh should glory in his presence. No flesh. That includes the righteous or the wicked. The Most High chooses the lowly of the earth to confound the wise and the mighty, so that no flesh, neither them that are being used or them that are witnessing, may glory in his presence. How can the spoon that's scooping the yogurt think that it's any better than the person holding the spoon? It's just, without any person utilizing it, it's nothing. It has no use. We're the spoon. See, the problem with that spoon is when that spoon start thinking, man, I be scooping, don't I? Yeah, I be scooping. Forgets that it needs somebody to pick them up and do and have the motion. Or the yogurt saying, yeah, man, I'm up here getting scooped, boy. Can't nobody get scooped like me. Neither of which have any power, no glory whatsoever. It's the person doing the act that gives those two things any level of power or authority. No flesh, neither them being used or them witnessing, may glory in his presence.
The problem with men of regard on the earth is that they think themselves greater than what they are because of the power they hold on earth. If you're viewed as a God here, how can you possibly believe that there's a God out there? There's nothing better than this. They feed me grapes. I ain't had to lift a finger in 3 weeks. I get they bathe me. I ain't gotta do nothing. Anything I want, I can have. This is why men of wisdom, men who think that they know. I went to college for this many years and I did this and I did that. I know better than you. Most High can't use people like that. He would rather get someone who knows nothing and mold them as opposed to someone who believes that they know everything. How many of you know it's different? It's easier to learn than to unlearn? How many of you know that it's easier to let a person who has no power know that they have no power versus a person who already has power? You can't tell a person who already has power that they have no power. It's like, man, my power is evident. Look, my authority is evident. Hey, you jump. Right? What man often forgets is there's a difference between power and authority. There's a difference between power and authority. Those who know the difference between the two are more easily able to master meekness. Those who understand the difference between the two are more easily able to master meekness. However, just because one is of low estate does not mean that he is capable of being used. Why is this? Let's get Ecclesiastes chapter 25, verse 2.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 25, verse 2. 3 sorts of men my soul hated.
What kind of souls does he hate?
And I am greatly offended at their life.
He's offended at their life. Read.
A poor man that is proud.
A poor man that is proud. That's the point that I wanted to focus on. A poor man that is proud. There is a type of poor man that does not understand his position. There's a type of poor man that doesn't understand his position. He thinks himself higher than what he is. He doesn't realize that he's poor. He behaves, he carries himself as if he's rich, as if he has any level of power of authority when he doesn't. Like, you ever had somebody who's on the street try to tell you what to do? No, give me that dollar bill. I don't want the quarters, give me the dollar bill. It's like, hold on, brother. What? You just asked me for money and now you telling me how you want it? Yeah, I'm gonna need you. Go ahead and send me that on Zelle. If you got Zelle, you can. Remember, meekness cannot exist without confidence. Confidence is not thinking that you're something that you're not. It's understanding what you are and acting accordingly in peace, belief, and trust. You can't cause yourself to believe when you're in a low estate that you don't belong there. The type of man in Sirach is a poor man who believes himself greater than what he is. He pretends his place is amongst the rich and the powerful. Think of it as a fool who believes he deserves to sit in the council of the wise. A fool who says, man, I got as much wisdom as the elder and the bishop. Anybody can do what they do. This person lacks meekness. A fool who believes he deserves to be a part of the council of the wise. A meek man knows he is poor and understands that it is only by the power of the Most High that he is increased. That's meekness. Why? Because now when you get in that position of power, you understand who got you there. And you understand it is by his power that your power exists. That's where the power of the meek lies. See, a fool who believes that he deserves to sit amongst the council of the wise, he doesn't learn because he believes he's already there. But if you have a fool who knows he's a fool and says, teach me so that I can sit among you, that's where change, that's where growth happens. Now that person understands, if it wasn't for the wisdom of that person teaching me, I would have never sat amongst the council of the wise. Put a 1 in the chat if you're following me here. The power of the meek rests in knowing that he or she knows nothing. I'm going to say that again. The power of the meek rests in knowing that he or she knows nothing. Knowing that you know nothing. Protege said something in a song a long time ago. He said, what do you know if you learn every day? If you learn something new every day, what do you really know? The scriptures say that we see through a glass dimly, right? We don't have all the information. We don't have all the knowledge. We don't have all the resources. So we're learning every day. And we have to process and act accordingly. Knowing that for all the power we possess, knowing that you know nothing, and knowing that for all the power we possess, we do not have the authority to use it outside of the will of the Father. Are you guys following me? Did you pick up what I just said there? Knowing that for all the power we possess, we do not have the authority to use it outside of the will of the Father. Authority relegates power. If the Most High can trust you with power, he can trust you with authority. If you possess the spirit of total, if you've mastered the spirit of meekness, the Most High will entrust all power to you. Why? Because he knows you won't use it outside of his authority. That's where your power comes from. We're going to show you some examples of this. This forces one into complete submission and subservience to the Most High, making them perfect vessels to do his will. I'm going to say that again. Knowing that for all the power we possess, we do not have the authority to use it outside of the will of the Father. This forces one into complete submission and subservience to the Most High, making them perfect vessels to do his will. Numbers chapter 12, verse 1.
Numbers chapter 12, verse 1. And Miriam and Aaron spake against Moses because of the Egyptian woman whom he had married.
The Ethiopian woman.
Ethiopian woman whom she had married.
Mm-hmm.
For he had married the Ethiopian woman.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, hath the Lord indeed spoken only by Moses?
Hath the Lord indeed only spoken by Moses? Read.
Hath he not spoken also by us?
Mm-hmm.
And the Lord heard it. Now the man Moses was very meek.
This is the important, people just brush over these parentheses right here. Now the man Moses was very meek. Read.
Above all the men which were upon the face of the earth.
Above all the men that were upon the face of the earth. Read.
And the Lord spake suddenly unto Moses and unto Aaron and unto Miriam. Come out, ye three, unto the tabernacle of the congregation.
Mm-hmm. Now, why was Moses called to be present? He didn't say anything. He didn't do anything. Why was Moses called out with them? Not just to witness, because what Miriam and Aaron didn't realize is that Moses was on the same level that they were. It's opening up, isn't it? Moses was no different than Aaron and Miriam. But there was one clear difference but with Moses and those other two. Moses was the most meek man upon all the earth. Drop down to verse 10.
Verse 10.
Mm-hmm.
My servant Moses is not so, who is faithful in all mine house.
He's faithful in all mine house. Read.
With him will I speak mouth to mouth, even apparently, and not in dark speeches.
Not in a dream. He doesn't speak to you. Guys are talking about how you see visions in your dreams. That where I speak to you. No. I speak mouth to mouth with Moses. I don't speak to him in riddles. I don't speak to him in parables. I speak to him plainly. Read.
And in the similitude of the Lord shall he behold.
How many of you have ever read how many of you have ever read Numbers Numbers chapter 12 and actually paid attention to what the Most High just said there? Read that. And the similitude.
And the similitude of the Lord shall he behold.
Who in here knows what that means?
Similitude is likeness to the image.
Exactly. Moses is sitting in the position of the Most High on earth. Why? Because he was the most meek man in all the earth. Don't worry, we're gonna break it down and make it make sense. Okay, read.
Wherefore then were ye not afraid to speak against my servant Moses?
So knowing this, why were you not afraid to speak against Moses? Read.
And the anger of the Lord was kindled against them, and he departed.
Many people, when they read this, they believe that Miriam was smitten with leprosy because she spoke against Moses and his wife. Put a one in the chat if that's what you gathered from this scripture. Previously, prior to this point, a lot of people believe that the Most High was angry with Miriam and smote her because she spoke against Moses and his wife. What many do not see in this story is that the Most High was not angry on account of her speaking against Moses. The Most High could have cared. Everybody was speaking against Moses. He was angry with her because she spoke against him by speaking against Moses.
Mm-hmm.
Moses was the most meek man upon all the earth because the Most High, because of this, the Most High granted him authority over the people. Moses was a perfect vessel to be used by the Most High. Right? Moses took the words as directly given to him by the Father and gave them direction exactly as he was instructed. Moses gave all power to Moses, all authority in the earth to Moses. But guess what? Moses never used that power and authority outside of how the Most High instructed him to use it. He was doing things as if the Most High was there himself. That's what it meant when it said that Moses was the most meek man in all the earth. Moses was the perfect vessel for the Most High to use because he was in the similitude of the Most High. If the Most High was on earth, he would have been Moses. That's why the Most High asked, so knowing this, why were you not afraid to speak against Moses? You didn't speak against Moses. You spoke against me. Because you looking at Moses is as good as you looking at me. Moses sat in the position of the Most High being his mouthpiece. Moses understood the power he had, but he also understood he had no authority to use that power without the direction of the Most High. Meekness. Meekness is understanding authority, understanding your position, understanding your hierarchy, and walking in it with confidence. Moses wasn't weak by any stretch of the imagination, but he was docile as it pertained to the Most High. He accepted control. He accepted instruction. So because he relinquished his body, we don't understand what Christ is talking about when he was like, make your body a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable unto the Most High. People don't know what that means. That's what this is. Meekness has to be present in order for that to be possible. Moses mastered it. And because he mastered it, he was quite literally able to make his body a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable unto the Most High, to be used. No word spoken, no action taken by Moses at this point in time was outside of what the Most High asked him to do. Aaron was a fool in thinking that the Most High was actually dealing with him. Because Moses had a speech impediment, what Moses was told by the Most High, he relayed to Aaron, and Aaron relayed to the people. That's why the people looked at Aaron and thought, oh, he's in an authoritative position. No, Moses wasn't delivering those words. The Most High was. Via Moses, via Aaron. Which goes to show leadership positions don't always look the same. This is the presiding elder. I'm talking. Does that make him less of the presiding elder?
No.
Do you know how rare it was? Do you know how rare it was for people to even see Moses when they were in the wilderness? Let alone actually hear him speak? But who was the Most High dealing with? Moses or Aaron? Miriam and Aaron got caught up in the power Moses had and forgot the source from whom he received the power. They forgot the chain of command and attributed authority to Moses. Moses can't lead us. Oh, you think Moses is leading you? You think Moses is leading you? Oh. And it's easy to do that because something that we see versus something that we don't see directly. The Most High was talking with Moses was talking with the Most High face to face. Well, he was face to face with Christ, but Christ was speaking directly from the Most High as the intercessor. They hadn't seen that. All they saw was Moses. And Moses delivered. Well, all Aaron saw was Moses. And all the people saw was Aaron via Moses. This is why the Most High was angry with them. Because Moses was a pure vessel being used. They did not, in effect, insult Moses. They insulted the Most High. Not only did they insult the Most High, they insulted a decision that he made to choose Moses. Oh, you think I made a mistake? Oh, please tell me why it is that you think that I made a mistake in choosing Moses. If I wanted you, I would have picked you. That's essentially what the Most High was telling him. I talk with Moses face to face. I don't speak to him like I speak to y'all with these visions or dreams. No, I talk to him directly. So tell me why it is that you think that that's a mistake. They weren't questioning Moses. They were questioning the Most High directly. We see the same example of meekness as it pertains to Christ. Let's get Matthew chapter 28, verse 18.
Matthew chapter 28, verse 18.
Mm-hmm.
And Yeshua came and spake unto them, saying, all power is given unto me in heaven and in earth.
We're setting up something here. I'm setting up something, right? So all power is given unto Christ in heaven and in earth, right? Let's get Colossians chapter 1, verse 15. Again, that is Colossians chapter 1, verse 15.
Who is the image of the invisible God?
Who is the image of the invisible God? Read.
the firstborn of every creature.
The firstborn of every creature.
For by him were all things created that were in heaven and that are in earth, visible, invisible, whether they be thrones or dominions or principalities or powers. All things are created by him and for him. And he is before all things, and by him all things consist.
So understand, no one outside of the Most High has more power and authority than Christ. If anything, Christ possesses all the power and authority of the Most High, which is why Christ said, being in the position, sitting in the seat of the Most High, being in the image of the Most High, he thought it not robbery to be equal with the Most High. Why was the Most High able to entrust all of his power and authority to Christ? Exactly. We often make the same mistake with Christ that Miriam made with Moses.
Come on now.
Y'all see where we're going here? We often make the same mistake with Christ that Miriam made with Moses, and that Miriam and Aaron made with Moses. Christ came to do the perfect will of the Father, and he humbled himself unto death. Understand, as Christ did that, while he did possess all power, he still does not possess all authority. Why? He understands his position. Even though the Most High gave him all the authority, even though the Most High gave him all of the power, Christ understands my power and authority is limited by him that is above me. The authority that Christ walks in is not his own, but rather the Most High's, as it was given to him by the Most High. I'm going to say it again. The authority Christ walks in is not his own, but rather the Most High's, as it was given to him by the Most High. How many of I've made this mistake? How many people often make the mistake of attributing the authority that belongs to the Most High to Christ?
Made in the past.
We forget. It's okay. because Christ said, if you've seen me, you've seen the Father. So it's common to make that mistake, because all the power and all the authority that the Most High has been attributed to Christ. It was given to Christ. Christ, even still having all power and authority given to him by the Most High, even Christ cannot operate outside of his office. I'm going to say that again. Even Christ cannot operate outside of his office. So who are we to think that we can do so?
I agree.
Even Christ can't operate outside of his own office. Hence, why Christ stated that he came not to do his own will, but the will of him that sent him. Christ being obedient unto death was one of the greatest acts of meekness. Understand, Christ knew that if he went outside of his office, all the power that the Most High gave him, all the authority that the Most High gave him, gone.
Like that.
Because the Most High only gave him that power and authority to do his will. So the second you stop doing his will, you don't get the power and the authority. Christ could have easily lived a long life and prevented the Romans from arresting him and hanging him. How many of y'all know the disciples were not, they were very skilled warriors? That they were always strapped, always ready to go. If Christ didn't want to go, he wouldn't have gone. If he didn't have to go, he wouldn't have gone. Christ had the power, but not the authority. So he exercised restraint because he understood the assignment. Christ exercised restraint on the power that he was given. Why? Because he understood the assignment. How do we know this? John chapter 18, verse 33.
John chapter 18, verse 33.
Mm-hmm.
Then Pilate entered into judgment hall again
Mm-hmm.
and called Yeshua and said unto him, Art thou the king of the Jews?
You're the one that they call the king of the Jews, right? Read.
Yeshua answered, saying, Sayest thou this thing thyself, or did others tell it thee of me?
Like, are you saying this, or did somebody else tell you that that's the case? Read.
Pilate answered, Am I a Jew?
Read.
Thine own nation and the chief priests have delivered thee unto me. What hast thou done? Yeshua answered, My kingdom is not of this world.
He said, my kingdom is not of this world. Read.
If my kingdom were of this world, then would my servants fight.
Christ made it clear. If I didn't want to be here, I wouldn't be here. If it wasn't time for me to be here, I promise you, ain't nobody gonna deliver me here. He said, if my kingdom, he was like, if my kingdom were of this world, then would my servants fight? Read.
That I would not be delivered unto the Jews.
He said that I wouldn't be delivered unto the Jews. He's like, listen, if I didn't want to be here, my servants would fight and I would not be here. You wouldn't be here. Read.
But now is my kingdom not from hence.
He said, my kingdom isn't here. I have to go. So yeah, I let him bring me here. I let him bring me here. After this, Pilate went out there and said, listen, I don't see no fault with this man. I ain't see he did nothing. Christ was given all power in heaven and in earth, and he walked in the authority of the Most High. But he also understood that he was a perfect vessel of the will of the Most High. So while he has the authority to operate within his will, he has no authority to operate outside of it. When you go outside the will of the Most High, when you exit your position, when you exit your office, all the power and authority that you think you have, you don't. That's where restraint comes in. That's where restraint comes in. Think of it like this. If someone close to you was to be killed, it would be very difficult for you not to execute judgment under the law of Moses, right? But the Most High took that, right? Is it within your authority to put that person to death?
Yes.
No. Christ took that authority, didn't he? Before, in the time of Moses, absolutely. Do your thing. Stone him. But now we're living in a time period. We're living in a time where Christ took that authority. So what do we have to exercise? Meekness. And within meekness, restraint. Mm-hmm. Understand, while you have the power to put that person to death, absolutely you can put that person to death. Of course you have the power to. It's called a gun. It's called a knife. It's called whatever it is you want to use that can put somebody to death. Cyanide, whatever you want. But do you have the authority? And this is the question that we have to begin to ask ourselves in daily life. While I do have the power to do this, do I have the authority?
Is everybody getting this?
Put a 1 in the chat if you're understanding, if you're following. It is with this understanding that we can better apply this to our daily lives and how we interact with one another. Because this goes for the church. Because how often we see how many I forget the show that I was watching where there was a guy and he was in the position of Duke and there was another man in the position of King. And Duke and the Duke, he had the power to put a guy to death, but he didn't have the authority. And because the Duke executed under the authority of the King, with authority he didn't have, the King put him to death. Not because what he did was wrong. He was probably absolutely right. But you don't have the right to do my job. Yeah, I gave you power. You're supposed to have it. That's why you're in the position. But that doesn't mean you have the authority to do my job. And definitely don't start thinking that you can do my job. That's the mistake that Miriam and Aaron made. Don't the Most High speak to us? We can do it. We can do what Moses do. What do you need to be in a position for? Moses like the Most High was like, So you think I don't know what I'm doing? Know your role. Play it. That's meekness. Not only know your role and play it, but do it to the fullest extent of what the power that the Most High grants you with. See, the problem is we think that not doing everything is not having power. No, that's just outside of your realm of authority.
Come on.
Yeah, of course. Of course. And this idea that women can't, that's not true. Women have power too, but the problem is that you don't have the authority. That authority wasn't given to you. Of course a woman can raise a family. We've seen it. A lot of men that are probably watching this had no father in the home, were raised by a single mother. Of course we've seen it happen. They have the power. But do you have that authority? And that's where things go wrong. There's still something lacking. There's something missing. Mm-hmm. Psalms chapter 25, verse 9.
Psalms 25.
Mm-hmm. And that's the same thing goes in the church as it pertains to leadership. Listen, bishop and deacons, you're not elders. You're not. Where at? Psalms 25?
Yeah, I don't have it.
Okay, no problem. Bishops, deacons, you aren't elders. You have the power of an elder, but you're operating underneath his authority. You can only use your power within your position, within your office. You, of deacon, you do not have the authority. You don't have the authority to operate in the office of a bishop or an elder. Bishops, you don't have the authority to operate in the position of an elder. You may have the power, but you don't have the authority. You can only operate within the authority of your office. The second you start going outside of that is the second you lose meekness, and the second the Most High stops dealing with you. The Most High is not going to deal with somebody who doesn't know how to play their role, a role that he gave them. It's like, you think I'm going to talk to you when you can't do what your job is? You're so busy trying to do everybody else's job. What's happening with your job? You wonder why things are lacking because you're not doing your job. You're doing everybody else's. Operate within your realm of authority. Psalms 25 and 9.
Psalms 25 and 9. The meek will he guide in judgment, and the meek will he teach his way.
The meek will he guide in judgment, and the meek will he teach his way. The Most High will only guide those who are meek. Who will only guide and teach those who are meek. Why? Because they know nothing. It's impossible to teach somebody who thinks they know everything. It's impossible to guide somebody who thinks they know everything. It's like, okay, Most High tells you, all right, go that way. But this way has all the stores. Surely there's canned goods. Like, okay, this dude think he knows something. He think he knows better than me. Think about it. Every time the Most High tells you to do something and you do the opposite, you think that you're smarter than the Most High.
Mm.
Wow.
Every time the Holy Spirit gives you warning and you do the opposite, you're doing exactly what Moses and Aaron did. You think you know better than God. Where is that going to lead you? Straight to hell. They constantly, because they know nothing, they constantly listen for the voice of the Father for direction. They understand that it is within their authority to lead their people according to his will, but outside of his will, he can't lead anybody. He has no authority to lead anyone. Let me say that again. They understand that their authority to lead the people according to his will, they have the authority to lead people according to his will, but they have no authority to lead anyone in their own will. You have no power either. A meek man is the perfect vessel for the Most High because he can be given all power and authority and know that none of it he can use without the permission of the Father. And say it again. Make sure y'all write this down. A meek man is a perfect vessel for the Most High because he can be given all the power and authority and know he can use none of it without the permission of the Father to do so. That's meekness. That's a perfect vessel. It's like think of a good example. It's like superpowers. Say the Most High grants you with powers, right? The only reason why he granted you with those powers is because he knew you would ask permission before you use them. Or because he knew he gave you a set of rules, he gave you a set of scenarios. If it's outside of these rules and outside of these scenarios, I know you won't do it. So I gave you that power. But the second you think that you can start going and doing your own thing, gone. You're going to jump off that building and think you're about to fly and be free falling. That's literally what it is. He knows none of the power or authority he has actually belongs to him. The meek man knows that none of the power or authority he has actually belongs to him. Moses knew. Moses was like, bro, nothing I do here has anything to do with me personally. I can't do none of all of this stuff. No, that wasn't me. Now, notice how quickly the Israelites got it screwed up. They're saying Moses, the man who led us out of Egypt. Did Moses lead them out of Egypt? See? See? Perspective. Understand that the Most High orchestrates everything externally. All we can control is how we handle it internally. Men being called to lead here on earth are to be meek. This means that they are submitted, docile, meaning that they're accepting instruction and control from the Most High, yielding to the Most High, and humble as it pertains to the Most High in Christ, as they are our authorities. So we understand that our position is to lead, but we understand that there's someone we have to fall in line behind. We don't have all authority or all power. Even if we had all power, we still understand we don't have all authority. We only have the authority that is granted to us. And in order to receive that, you have to be docile as it pertains to the Most High in Christ, meaning willing to accept control and instruction. And that is very, very hard to do. It's very hard to do because of the expectations that are placed upon man. Because of the expectations placed upon man, a lot of times we have this unrealistic view that we can control everything, that we have the power and the authority to control everything. However, if we are not operating in meekness, we have no power or authority over anything. And the Most High does not speak or deal with him in any way because he is not open to hear. If you can't be willing to accept control from the Most High in Christ, the Most High is not going to deal with you because you think you know better. You think you know better. We must be willing to accept control and instruction from the Father in humility, knowing that without him, we're nothing and we can accomplish nothing. It is purely by his power that we increase.
That's right.
It is purely by his power that we increase. That's meekness. How many of you guys think that's easy? How many of you in this room think that that's easy? It's very hard, isn't it? It's very difficult to relinquish control. Because keep in mind, like I said, you can attempt to take that control. It's not going to work out because you don't have any power or authority, but you can attempt. And even if you succeed, what damage have you done internally? I gave the example before when we were discussing before we went live on the lesson. There's such thing as too much weight for the human body. So if you're too small to handle a certain amount of weight, sure, you may be able to get it down and get it back up. But what damage have you caused internally trying to lift the weight your body physically can't handle? Same thing applies here. When you try to operate outside of your office, you're destroying yourself. Because now the Most High is like, yeah, nah, I can't deal with you because you think you can sit in my seat. That's a problem for me. So let me strip you of everything and remind you that you were nothing before and you're nothing now.
Wow.
The Most High say he can raise up stones to be the children of Israel. Like, bro, what? Most High like, bro, I don't need none of y'all. What I need y'all for? We got in this mindset of the Most High need us. You need me. It's like, listen, we was getting Grammys and platinums before you got here. You're an accessory. That's like Johnny Gill thinking that he made New Edition. Like, what? You got here after we blew up, after we've been around for a decade. And you think that we're not us without you? It's the same thing with the Most High. The Most High was like, I was me before anything was created. I was me before Christ. So for anything that came after me, that came from me, to think that you know better than me is asinine. But we do it on the daily basis.
It's all pride.
It's all pride and not understanding authority. The person that's set in front of you or above you is there for a reason, not to be questioned. Why? Because they're getting their instruction from the Most High. You question the person above you, you're questioning the Most High directly. You're no different than Miriam and Aaron. The Most High is not going to talk, well, I heard from the Most High. You ain't hear jack. James chapter 4, verse 13.
James chapter 4, verse 13. Go to now, ye that say, today or tomorrow we will go into such a city and continue there a year and buy and sell and get gain.
These are the plans that I'm making. Yeah, I think we're going to go do this. We're going to go do that. We're going to go this. We're going to do that. Read.
Whereas ye know not what shall be on the morrow.
What you know about tomorrow? You barely know about today. You barely know about right now. You talking about tomorrow in a year in advance. Read.
For what is your life?
What is your life? Read.
It is even a vapor that appeareth for a little time and then vanishes away. For that ye ought to say, if the Lord will, we shall live and do this or that.
If it be the Most High's will, we will do this tomorrow. We will make it here tomorrow. We'll do that. Don't forget who's in control. Remind yourself at all times, and that's what it takes. Let's get Corinthians chapter 13, verse 3.
Missed that one?
I don't know either. 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 3.
Mm-hmm.
But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ.
The head of every man is Christ. Read.
The head of every woman is the man.
Mm-hmm.
And the head of Christ is God.
And the head of Christ is God. This is the hierarchy, right? It's the same way that the Most High established it in the church. You have your elders, you have your bishops, you have your deacons, right? That's the hierarchy. That means that one's authority does not exceed the person above them. It has a ceiling. Christ's authority has a ceiling. Christ's power has a ceiling. Our man's power has a ceiling. The husband's power has a ceiling. The wife's power has a ceiling. When things go wrong is when people start trying to do other people's jobs. We've seen this all before. This is the chain of command handed down by the Most High. Well, I'm going to ask this again. Is it easy to be meek before the Most High?
No.
It's not. It's a task, right? It's hard. We saw the example of Christ showing meekness towards the Most High and understanding his position and the authority above him. He went to the cross. He died. He became obedient unto death, making him subject to the Most High's authority. It's easy for you to have all authority and power. You guys don't understand. Christ, good example. Anakin Skywalker, Luke Skywalker, same amount of power, different positions. People get this mistaken. They think that Luke Skywalker is above Anakin because they have the same amount of power. No, he's still not the chosen one. Just because he has the same amount of power does not change his position. You have all the power that you want. You're still not this. You don't have the authority. Christ understood. I have all the power and authority from the Father, but only when I operate within his plan. Stick to the plan. Christ didn't think that he knew better than the Most High. When the Romans came, he could have said, I could wait another week. Let's do it next week. He didn't, because he understood. Now's the time. We see the same thing with Moses and the prophets throughout the scriptures being subject to the Most High. Right? Meekness, following the will of the Most High. Listen, I don't know if I could have laid on my side for over a year eating barley. You lay on one side for over a year eating barley. How many of you guys could have done that? Ezekiel did it. Ezekiel did it because that's what he was told to do. He understood, like, listen, bro, I could say no, but authority came. Hey, the word came from up top. Such and such got to happen. Right? We see this also with Sarah and other righteous women of the Most High throughout the scriptures with their husbands and the Most High. Let's get 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 4.
1 Peter chapter 3 and verse 4. But let it be the hidden man of the heart.
Let it be the hidden man of the heart.
And that which is not corruptible.
And that which is not corruptible.
Even the ointment of the meek.
Of the what?
Of the meek.
Read.
And quiet spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Which is in the sight of God a great price.
Mm-hmm.
For after this manner in old time the holy women also who trusted in God.
Who trusted in who?
God.
Who trusted in who?
God.
Who trusted in who?
God.
Read.
Adorned themselves, being in subjection unto their own husbands.
Are they in subjection to their husbands, or are they trusting in God?
God.
It doesn't say the women of old time who trusted in their husbands. It said women of old time who trusted in God. Sisters, do not make the mistake that Miriam and Aaron made in thinking that your husband has authority. He doesn't. If he's walking in meekness towards the Most High, what he's saying is not coming from him. It's coming from up top. Read.
Verse 6. Even as Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him Lord, whose daughters ye are. as long as ye do well, and are not afraid with any amazement.
Now, how many can a sister in the room give me an example of what it means when he says, and are not afraid with any amazement? When it says that there. It says, even as Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him Lord, whose daughters ye are, as long as ye do well and are not afraid with any amazement. Why does it say that? Because the independent lifestyle existed back then too. If Sarah lived in the time of Paul, if Sarah and Abraham lived in the time of Paul, and she was treating Abraham the way that she was, guess what those sisters would have been saying about Sarah? Is he beating her? Why you so weak? Why you let him make all the decisions? Don't you got to say in that? They literally, that's what it's talking about. It says, and are not afraid with any amazement. The way that they looked at Sarah, the way they would have looked at Sarah and the women of old was as if she was crazy. It was uncommon back then too, because it was programmed that the woman has authority over the man, or she has the same amount of authority as the man.
Aren't we partners in this?
There's no such thing as a partnership in marriage. It doesn't exist. Find me a partnership in the Bible between man and woman. It's a union. But even in a union, there's hierarchy. Christ, think about it this way. Is Christ on the same level as the Most High?
No.
Talk back to me. Is Christ on the same level as the Most High?
No.
Does he have the same position as the Most High?
No.
Does the Holy Spirit have the same position as the Most High?
No.
But they're united. Doesn't the scripture say that these three are one? They agree on one, they're united, but guess what? They have different positions. Let Christ try to come talking to the Most High. Yeah, we're going to do this instead of this. What was that? Look at him like, oh, he forgot. Oh, who you think he talking to? He forgot. Hold on. What? Come again? Listen, and this is where the fear comes in, because women have this mindset that the man, you have to submit to any man. No, this is your husband. He's walking in meekness towards the Most High. You walk in meekness before him. Why? Because he's become the perfect vessel of the Most High in Christ. So when you go against him, you're going directly against the Most High. It's a touchy subject when we get to women being submitted to their husbands. It's very touchy, especially with the qualities that go into being meek, right? Especially when you bring out words like docile. It's a scary, but when you actually get the definition of what this means as we've broken down meekness, you understand the way that this works, right? Sisters cannot demand that a man be meek as it pertains to the Most High because it's his office, but not willing to do the same thing because it's their office. Honestly, how many sisters if sisters are watching and sisters in the room, how many of you guys want a man that's meek before the Most High, that walks in meekness? Raise your hands. In the room, in the chat, put a 1 in the chat if you want a man that's meek. If you're a sister and you want, raise your hands if you want a man that's meek. Everybody in here, right? So, how can you ask for that man to be meek when you're not willing to do the same thing? Well, you have to be meek before the Most High. It's your position to be meek before the Most High, but you won't be meek before him. That's your position. That's your job. Doesn't mean that he bullies you, because guess what? If he's walking in meekness towards the Most High, he's treating you the right way. The same way the husband accepts control and instruction from the father, the woman must be willing to do the same with her husband, as Sarah did. Understand, woman was not created to be a partner of man. She was created to be a helpmeet to man. She was created to be a helpmeet to man. While you help him complete his goals, you reach yours. It's a union. You guys come together. You have the same vision. The definition of union. Let me get it real quick. I pulled it up. The definition of union: a club, society, or association formed by people with common interest or purpose. That's what marriage is. It's a union, right? But there's an authority within that union. And meekness is required on every level. Why should Christ be required to practice meekness? And men don't practice meekness before Christ. That's a question for you, brothers. Why should Christ have to be humble unto death and show meekness, but you don't? You better than Christ?
No.
You better than Moses?
No.
Zephaniah?
No.
Nehemiah?
Meek.
Amos?
No.
Micah?
No.
Samuel?
No.
Any of them? Name anybody. You better than them?
No.
No. That's why Moses that's why Moses came out. That's why the Most High called Moses out with Miriam and Aaron. He wasn't any better than them. His qualities were different, though. That you're not any less than Moses. You're not any less than Samuel, Amos, Zephaniah, Nehemiah. But do you have that quality, though? You aren't any less than them. You aren't any more than them. But do you possess that quality? Because that's going to determine whether or not the Most High is willing to give you the power and the authority that he gave to Moses. This means that while discussion, when you're talking about the union between the husband and the wife, this doesn't mean that discussion doesn't exist. When a decision is made, there's no discussion. That's not what that means.
Right.
But the final decision comes down to the husband. Why? Because he has the authority to make that decision. It's the wife's job to uphold that decision, even if they do not always agree with it. If he's not asking you to do something wicked or outside of the Most High, outside of what the Most High wrote, he's not asking you to break the law. It's not within your authority to go outside what he sets in place. Is everybody following that? Is that clear?
Calm.
If he's not asking you to do something that's breaking the law according to the scriptures, or is detrimental to you, directly harming you, or it's against the biblical law, your job is to uphold it. Uphold that standard within the household. Why? Because when he's not in that household, you sit in his seat. I don't think y'all picked up what I was saying there. I don't think y'all picked up what I was saying. Just like Christ is the perfect vessel for the Most High, was the perfect vessel for the Most High, and men are required to be the perfect vessel for Christ and the Most High, sisters, you're required to be the perfect vessel for your husband. That means that when he's not home, he's still home because you're there. There's no reason why the children should feel like when dad's not there, they can do stuff that they can do whatever they want because he's not there. Mom's here, so we can do this. Nah. She upholds the same standards that he upholds. Whether you agree or not, you're not always going to agree. He's not always going to be right. He's not always going to be right. I'll put it like this. Genesis chapter 21. Sarah told Abraham to remove Hagar and Ishmael from their house. She told him that was a command. Why? Because Sarah was enraged. Notice Sarah behaved in a way to Abraham that she had never behaved to him before. Sarah came to Abraham and said, "This is what you're going to do." Mm-hmm. Now imagine if a man went before Christ that way. Christ, this is what you're going to do, okay? All right, Yeshaya, son of God, this is what you're going to do today. This is what's going to happen. Okay. That's the way Sarah went before Abraham. Why didn't Abraham address her some type of way? Because of what we read earlier. It was out of Sarah's character to behave that way. So Moses gave her grace. Moses was like, oh, well, clearly you're bothered by this.
Yeah.
Abraham was like, clearly you're bothered by this. Her command to remove Hagar and Ishmael from his house, it troubled Abraham. Why? Not because of Hagar, because of his son. He was worried about the well-being of his son. It troubled him until the Most High spoke to him, reassuring him of his wife's command. Do it. Ishmael will be fine. Everything will be fine. But everything that you're talking, the promise is coming. He's not going to be co-heirs with Ishmael. Isaac's getting everything. At the end of the day, Sarah understood her position in the marriage, and had Abraham decided not to remove his son, she may have not agreed, but she would have lived with it. How do we know this? Because Abraham had the option of doing as she spoke. Notice Abraham could have made any decision he wanted, but it was when the Most High stepped in and said, hey, do as she commanded. She's right. Sarah was right. Sarah was absolutely correct. But the reason why Abraham was able to receive it and do as she asked was because she walked in meekness before him. The way that she came was not how she always came with everything. She didn't argue with him about every decision. She didn't want to create an issue about every decision that Moses tried to make. If she didn't agree with it, she went to him and said, hey, I understand this. This is what I'm thinking. And you discuss it. But at the end of the day, the decision comes down to him. It doesn't mean that he's like, well, this decision that I made, you don't have the right to ask me nothing. That's not what that was. That's not the way that worked. But what you can't do is break the unity in front of people. You guys see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can't, if he sets a standard for the house, you can't come behind and undermine his authority in front of the people within the house. Do it in private. Okay, so this is what you said earlier. This is what I'm thinking. Sarah when Abraham had no idea he was dealing with angels. He had no idea. And he was, just chopping it up with the angels. And Sarah was like, Sarah discerned it. Sarah, once again, was right. She knocked on the door. Abraham, can I speak to you for a moment? Pulled him out of the room. They're angels. You're like, no, they're not. I saw them coming from. She was like, no, they're angels. She turned out to be right. And he was like, oh, shoot, go get such and such, such and such. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. She pulled him to the side. Meekness. She understood his position and authority. Fact is, much of the time, women are right. Let's just be honest. Much of the time, they're absolutely correct. Can you identify that? They're absolutely right. But it's the spirit in which they come that closes a man's ear, because now you're undermining my authority. You're trying to take my authority, which you don't have the right to do. Come in your authority and in your power as the wife. Don't come to me trying to shoot my authority back at me. Because of the honor, respect, and restraint that Sarah demonstrated with Abraham, it made it easier for Abraham to go before the Most High and do as she requested. Even though Sarah, with the way that she came to Abraham, wasn't correct this time, where she was like, listen, this is what they need to go. Tell them to pack their stuff and go. Just tell them to get out. That's not the way that she should have handled it, but because the characteristics that she demonstrated throughout their entire marriage, throughout the entire time of them knowing each other, he was like, that's out of character. This must really be bothering her. Mm-hmm. It wasn't, here we go again. It was, this is out of character. Something must be wrong. Not, here we go again.
That's a big difference.
There's a huge difference. Mm-hmm. It's like you have to understand. We can't go before the Most High any kind of way because we're walking in meekness. You can't come before us any kind of way. Because guess what? The Most High will stop doing. He'll stop dealing with you. He'll stop dealing with you. You think it only goes for the man who's leading the household? Yeah, he'll absolutely stop working with the man, but he'll stop working with you too. Cut that connection real quick. He won't speak to you no more. It's like, okay, so you can't respect the authority that you placed yourself under. But you want me to talk to you directly? How do I know you? You talk to he is the perfect vessel of me, but you're willing to talk to him that way, and you think I'm going to talk to you so you can talk to me that way? Because if you're willing, think about it. It's the same thing with Moses, Aaron, and Miriam. He was like, why were you okay with talking against him that way, with speaking against Moses that way? Because you forgot that you weren't speaking to Moses, you weren't speaking about Moses, you were speaking about me. That's who you were speaking about. I'm not saying that the man is always going to be right, but the way that you address it is important. You can't step out of bounds. You can't. It's the same thing with a king will respect a subject who gives them their due respect. And for the position that they're in. With all due respect, Your Majesty, this, and this, and this, and this. So this is the correct way of looking at it. Instead of them saying, you wrong, you dumb, you never know what you're doing, you never make the right decisions, you never do that, you never do that. Now this, what you think the king gonna do? It's like, yeah, we gonna put you on that javelin tomorrow. That's the way he's gonna take it. It's like all I can do is put my defenses up. That's all I can do. Because you're not coming for the decision, you're coming for my authority. I'm okay with us disagreeing on a decision that I make, but when you come for my authority and my authority to make decisions for the household, that's the problem.
Wow.
She must not be impertinent or not showing the proper respect towards him. Why? Because for you, sisters who are married and who are unmarried, for that household, he sits in Moses' seat. For his household, he sits in the Most High seat. So he's required to have that due respect, even if he's wrong. She must practice restraint when she deals with him in any manner of action or conversation, because we have to do the same. Everybody in the room established is not easy, right? The process of being meek is not easy for a man. Why should it be hard for us and easy for y'all? It's not going to be easy for you guys either. You have to place your trust in someone else. But the question is, why would you place yourself under a man that you can't trust anyways? Why would you place yourself under a man that you can't respect anyways? And we're going to get into that in a second. He will not, the man that you're under may not always be right. But even still, that does not give you a license to operate outside of your office. Put a 1 in the chat if you're following me. These are the things that man must do before the Most High. Therefore, you must be able to operate the same way in meekness before him with patience and long suffering. Understand, we as men, Christ is perfect. The Most High is perfect. We're not. We're not. So patience and long suffering doesn't apply for us because we're dealing with perfect entities. But as it pertains to us, yes, we will be wrong. Yes, we may say something the wrong way or not the right way we're supposed to say it in the right spirit. Yes, that's absolutely going to happen. But we require patience and long suffering. We're not the Most High. We're gonna take a quick 5-minute break, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna seal everything together. All right. Everybody following. Is everything good so far? All right, all praises. Let's get to the break real quick. We'll take a quick break.
If it ain't me, I don't want it. If it ain't me, I decline. I can only be me, can't be no other God, no why. Cause that ain't me. Oh, oh, I can only be me. Oh, oh. But some people waiting for me to fail, like they ain't put in work through these years. The real ones can tell they'd rather have me in jail. Picture that, the spirit strong enough in me to open up the cells. I done seen many things through the years. I done seen people change like the wind. But me, I'm the same. Save your tears for the window pane. Me know what it is, so me not feel no shame. Who me tried to build, but me build in vain. Me not understand why them feel disdain. But me watch them ball like a jingle game. Oh, I can't stand when people be faking, 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 faking. The real one's telling me I'm a real one, cause I'm kingdom minded, but it's so much division, it's hard to build one. And I got so many bars, I pray you feel one. And all these beats I'm on, I hope I kill one. Yeah, and it's gonna ring in many ears. I'm just hoping and praying that I can pierce one. For the Son, the Messiah, for the King. If it ain't about him, then it's in vain. Let me open up my life, the whole thing. Give it to you with no cap per cocaine. Straight drop like in the 80s back then. Hope it had the streets jumping crazy like Vince. Yeah, of course in its prime. I'm just trying to be epic, way ahead of my time. Before that codeine had a mumbling in their rhymes, I just sat back patient, waiting to drop dimes. Yeah, like young Trey Young. We both good with 3 in the air, that's A1. The Father, the Son, and wisdom in A1. With stakes this high, you better be A1. You can have all the drip in the sauce as you want, as long as all that dripping ain't keeping you lukewarm. What better time to get priorities straight? If we minorities, then why we all over the face of the flat earth? The last will be first. Big facts in this verse. The truth just hurts. And times are worse than they've ever been. I can't even call a single soul a friend. But wifey, right? She my rib, so she fit just right. Let me break you off a piece of my life and let you put my crown on and walk a mile, lift my shoes for the night. You gon' wanna give her right back, right? Cause what you will find is I've been walking on the rugged road. Before I really understood I had an ugly soul. But I guess that's how this journey goes. I was broken, but he made me whole. That's why I'm giving you me. If it ain't me, I don't want it. If it ain't me, I decline. I can only be me, can't be no other God, no why. Cause that ain't me. Oh, oh, I can only be me. Oh, oh. If it ain't me, I don't want it. If it ain't me, I decline. I can only be me, can't be no other God, no why. Cause that ain't me. Oh, oh, I can only be me. Oh, oh. But some people waiting for me to fail. Like they ain't put in work through these years. The real ones can tell they'd rather have me in jail. Picture that, the spirit's strong enough in me to open up the cells. I done seen many things through the years. I done seen people change like the wind. But me, I'm the same. Save your tears for the window pane. Me know what it is, so me not feel no shame. Who me tried to build, but me build in vain. Me not understand why them feel disdain. But me watch 'em ball like a jingle game. Oh, I can't stand when people be faking, 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 faking. The real
We back. we back. All right. So I'm gonna remind everybody: like, share, comment, subscribe to the channel. Make sure that you get people in here. There's very pertinent messages that we're putting out, so we wanted to reach as many people as possible to do this work. Okay.
All right.
If you're being edified by this, I mean, I'm sure you know somebody else who could be edified by it as well, right? All right. So some sisters might say, what if he isn't walking in meekness before the Most High? How many of y'all had that question? What if he isn't walking in meekness towards the Most High? The question would then be, how did you end up in subjection to that man in the first place? And for people who are new in the truth, who came into the truth together, when you married him, was he worthy of your respect? It's a good question.
What did he change?
Oh, for sure. If he changed, that's different. Does he have that authority? Because remember, you have power and authority as long as you're what? Right? As long as you're under Christ, you have that power and that authority. He's not. So he doesn't have the same power and authority. And remember what Christ stated. Remember what Paul stated concerning the church. If you come into the truth and you're no longer happy to dwell together, you can depart. One is neither tied to the other. Right? But because you come into the truth with somebody, say they're still the same person. Are they still worthy? They were worthy of your respect before. They're still worthy of your respect now. Whether or not they have that authority, that's different because they're not operating underneath the Most High. But do they deserve your respect? Absolutely. That's what restraint is. Just because he's not operating in his office doesn't mean that you get to operate outside of yours, because the Most High will stop dealing with you too. We must also be able to separate a man making a decision or doing something you don't like versus actively practicing wickedness. I'll say that again. We must be able to separate a man making a decision or doing something you don't agree with versus actively practicing wickedness. We have to be able to separate the two. If the Most High told me to do something I don't like, that just don't sit right in my spirit. It's like, well, is it something that you don't like, or is he asking you to do something against the Most High? There's a difference, because you can't say because you disagree with something that he's not walking before the Most High. Well, I feel like you aren't walking before the Most High, so I'm not going to listen to that. Two aren't the same thing. Just because you don't agree does not give you license to disobey or not to operate within your office. If you don't like it, discuss it. If you don't like it, discuss it. But don't blatantly disrespect it and not do it and not uphold it, because that's your office. Now the Most High is going to stop dealing with you. And for what? Is he always going to be right? No. That's why you have a conversation about it. Not like, hey, I don't agree with that. I don't like what you're talking about there. That's not a discussion. Hey, you said this earlier, that this is what you wanted to do. And if he sets that standard in front of people, you uphold that standard in front of people. And when you get in private between just you and him, then you address it. You said this earlier. I don't necessarily agree with that. This is what I was thinking. And then you guys talk it out. And now guess what you've done? You've put it on him now. All the emphasis is on us. Because if you come the wrong way, it's on you. But if you come the right way and he's not willing to hear you, that's on him now. Now the issue is between him and the Most High and the way that he handles it. But if you come the wrong way, don't be surprised if he snaps back at you. Because you came the wrong way. You come the right way, put the onus back on him. He does it the wrong way. He's outside the spirit of the Most High. It's like, hey, you got listen, I came to you this way. But you also, but keep in mind, if you've been together for a long period of time and you've already set that habit, don't expect for his shields not to go up. I put it like this: if you guys have been in a relationship for a long period of time, and you guys have known each other in a marriage for a certain amount of time, and it's always been, well, hey, I and women, you know when you do this. Same thing as men. Men know when they do it. Don't expect for there to be an immediate shift. It takes time to break bad habits. It does. So if you come to him in a certain way, his shields go up, it's because of everything that y'all have experienced before. Give him an opportunity to cycle out of it. Patience and long suffering. And brothers, the same goes for you. Patience and long suffering. This is a journey for everybody. This is new for everyone. There has to be patience and long suffering on both sides. She has to break habits. You have to break habits. But the ultimate goal is to be walking, for that man to be walking in meekness before the Most High, and for that sister to be walking in meekness before him.
You been married before? Man, bro.
And that's where the standard has to be set at the same time. And we're going to get to that in a second, because for those of us who are unmarried, you have to make up your mind of whether you want to do this right or not. You have to make that up in your mind. I'll get to that in a second. If that man is walking before the Most High the best way he knows how at the time, your position is to walk in meekness toward him, whether you agree or not. This is where prayer comes into play. If he makes a decision that you don't like, but what he's doing, he's actively pursuing the Most High. If he makes a decision that you don't like and he's not moving off of it, pray. If he's not actively asking anyone in the house to do anything wicked or breaking the law, you're good. You're good. Nobody's going to hell. That's where prayer comes in. How many of you know the prayer of the righteous availeth much? See, the problem is that you can't pray and actively be defying him and expect the Most High to listen. Because now you're broken the order. It's like, listen, if you do what you're supposed to do, the Most High is going to honor your prayer. He will honor your prayer. Christ and the Most High, the Most High and the Holy Spirit are not partners. They work together in a union, understanding each other's roles, the parts that they're supposed to play, to bring forth whatever it is that they're trying to bring forth. If men and women, this goes for men and this goes for women. If you cannot live within the parameters set by the Most High in meekness, then you should do as commanded by Paul and remain unmarried. That's where it comes down to. If you aren't prepared to do what the Most High is asking you to do here, don't get married. It's that simple. Because all you're doing is you're hindering your prayers. The Most High is not going to deal with you. You forcing yourself into a relationship and still doing things the wrong way and not wanting to do things the right way, all you're doing is you're ruining your own situation with the Most High. You might as well stay to yourself and follow the Most High. Sisters, you have a covering anyways. Your covering is your father or your elder. He deserves the same respect that you are going to get. He deserves the same respect that you are going to be giving to your future husband. He does, because he's your covering. You going against him is the same way as you going against the Most High. He's your covering. Because guess what? Guess what righteous men are looking for? How do you treat your father?
Good point.
How do you do with your father? If your dad be like, if your dad be like, listen, this is what the man that hopes to have your hand in marriage is sitting there, and you're like, hey, can you grab something for me? No, we have company. You're gonna be like, oh, you have company. You got company now. That's because keep in mind, there's a scripture actually, because we pulled this up the other day. It was Sirach chapter 20, was it 21? Sirach 21. His house room. Pull that up. One moment. Okay. This is Ecclesiastes 29 and 28. Sirach in your Apocrypha, chapter 29, 28. These things are grievous to a man of understanding, right? So you know you have a man of understanding, a man of wisdom, a man of knowledge, a man of the Most High, when you see this quality. These grieve him. The upbraiding of house room and reproaching of the lender. The upbraiding of house room, upbraid means to fault, to find fault, or to break. And the house room is the household, the place where he has authority. A man of understanding is bothered when you come into his house and break the rules of his household. If you are in his household and he set a standard in his house and you're breaking them, he's going to have issue with it. And if he doesn't, you don't have a man of wisdom. You're dealing with a fool. Why? Because what is the standard of being a leader before the Most High? If you're going to be a leader within his body, and every man should aspire to have some level of position within the church. If you aspire to have a position within the church, one of the main requirements is that you have your house in order. So if I can allow someone to come into my house and break the rules of my house without me having an issue with it, that's a fool. He has no understanding. Or it says reproaching of the lender. I'm the one taking care of everything in this house. Everything in the house came from me. Everything in the house was supplied by me. And you're reproaching me? It's not correction. It's reproach. There's a difference. That means that there's a lack of respect there. Both of these things have to do with respect. Meekness, people, meekness. A man of understanding is bothered when there's a lack of meekness amongst the people within his domain. It bothers him. It grieves him. That's a man of understanding. That's a man of wisdom. He's like, hold on. You come into my house and break the rules of my house, and you think you can talk to me any kind of way. That's lack of respect across the board. There's a lack of meekness present here. Right? All of these things play factors. And these are what men of understanding are going to look for in a future wife. Make sense? Mm-hmm. That's why that scripture said some daughters all women, along the lines of all women desire a husband, but not all daughters. Not all daughters, but some daughters are better than others. Right? That means that all women desire to be married at some point, or be attached to someone at some point. But some daughters are better than others. How was this person raised? That separates one from the other. What are their morals? What are their values? What are their standards? What does she believe about marriage? Does she believe in being independent? These are things that matter. Some daughters are better than others. Once again, if men and women cannot live within the perimeter set by the Most High in meekness, that authority, that hierarchy, don't get married. It's that simple. Because you have to go in knowing that you want to do things right. Because if you go in knowing that you want to do things right and both of you have those same standards, guess what? There's not going to be any issues. It's going to be an Abraham and Sarah situation. Because both of you went in wanting to do things the right way. But that has to be there first. If you aren't willing to be meek, if you feel like if you feel like you being the characteristics of meek that we described here, if you feel like that is going to be an issue for you with your husband, don't get married. Men, if you have an issue with practicing meekness before the Most High, you just going to hell. Like that's not, because that's not an option. Men, you don't have an option. You don't get. That's what gives you your authority. For the sisters, if a woman is practicing righteousness, even if her husband isn't practicing righteousness, if she's practicing righteousness and meekness towards her husband, she's going to the kingdom either way. Because she's made her covering the Most High. You, as a man, you aren't walking in meekness for the Most High. You're doomed. You're finished. Grits, over, done. Let's get Daniel chapter 2, verse 20. We're almost done.
Hold on, did you say grits?
Yeah, grits. It's grits. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about.
All righty. Daniel chapter 2, verse 20. Daniel answered and said, "Blessed be the name of God forever and ever.
Blessed be the name of God forever and ever." Read.
For wisdom and might are his.
Mm-hmm.
And he changes the times and seasons.
Mm-hmm.
He removeth kings.
He removeth kings.
And setteth up kings.
He setteth up kings. Read.
He giveth wisdom unto the wise.
Mm-hmm.
And knowledge to them that know understanding.
The same thing goes within the church hierarchy and in the world's hierarchy, people. Pay attention here. We must walk in meekness towards those who have been set in position by the Most High, including the kings and princes of this world. Why? Because they sit in a position of authority that was granted to them by the Most High. Render unto Caesar what is Caesar's, but render unto the Most High what is the Most High's. Disobedience to them is disobedience to the Father. Unless they're asking you to do something that goes against his law, statutes, or commandments, or his word. In that case, you have license. But when you have a king that said, listen, the scriptures say not to run a red light. I don't follow the laws of man. I don't see nothing in the Bible about this red light. What? And no, you got it's funny, but believe it or not, there are actually Israelites that think that way. That's the law of the man. Say I can't do this. It's like, okay, is that law? Show me the law in the Bible that's in conflict with. I don't see taxes in the Bible. Well, they are in the Bible. You just weren't looking close enough. I don't have to pay the world's tax. I pay my tithe to the church. It's like, all right, when the IRS come get you, what you gonna tell them about that? We must be mindful and careful not to step outside of the position we're given by the Most High and risk dishonoring him. Know your role. Know your position in that hierarchy. Psalms chapter 37, verse 11.
Psalms chapter 37, verse 11. But the meek shall inherit the earth.
The meek shall inherit the earth. Read.
And shall delight themselves in the abundance of peace. The wicked plotteth against the just, and gnashes upon him with his teeth. The Lord shall laugh at him, and for he seeth that his day is coming.
He seeth that his day is coming. Read.
The wicked have drawn out the sword and have bent their bow to cast down the poor and needy and to slay such as be upright.
Be of upright
conversation. Verse 15. The sword shall enter into their own heart, and their bows shall be broken.
Read.
Verse 16. A little that a righteous man hath is better than the riches of many wicked. For the arms of the wicked shall be broken, but the Lord upholdeth the righteous.
Where is the power of the meek? The power of the meek is in the same place where all power and authority exist. With the Father. Those who become perfect vessels before the Most High by walking in meekness before him will not only be defended and avenged, but our reward is the kingdom. Do we have the power to fight back? Absolutely. We absolutely have the power to fight back. But the real question is, do we have the authority to fight back? I'm going to say that again. Do we have the power to fight back? Absolutely. But do we have the authority to fight back? If we have the authority to fight back, we have the power. If we don't have the authority, do we really have the power? Anybody can pull a trigger. But did you have the authority to pull the trigger? Nope. So you just broke the hierarchy. You just did the Most High's job. So I was like, that wasn't your job to do. Nobody told you to do that. Christ understood that the time to fight is not now. Matthew chapter 11, verse 27.
Matthew chapter 11, verse 27. All things are delivered unto me of my Father, and no man knoweth the Son but the Father. Neither knoweth any man the Father save the Son, and he to whomsoever the Son will reveal him. Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest.
So check this out here. Christ establishes something. He said, all things are delivered unto me of my Father. That means that he possesses all power and authority. He said, no man knows that no one can tell us differently. Remember, it's like an Anakin Luke Skywalker situation. They have the same amount of power, but they don't have the same position. He said, come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. How is he going to give you rest? How is he going to give you rest? Anybody have an answer to that? How does he give you rest? Check it out. Go ahead and read verse 29.
Take my yoke upon you and learn of me.
Take my yoke upon you and learn of me. What does that yoke look like? Read.
For I am meek and lowly in heart.
I am meek and lowly in heart. That is how you find rest. Read.
And ye shall find rest unto your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light.
The reason why we're so tired and stressed is because we've taken on a burden that does not belong to us. That's how he's giving us rest. Know where your power is. If you know where your power is and you do what's within your authority, it's easy. Because everything happens. Things happen. Stuff happens. You can't control everything that happens on the outside of you. You don't have that authority. The Most High works with all of this. What happens on the outside? Whatever happens, good. It happened because the Most High wanted it to happen. But how you receive that internally. How you allow the external to be processed on the internal determines whether or not that is going to break you. And so many people in this world are broken because they've taken on a burden that doesn't belong to them. Stop trying to do God's job. You can't lift his throne. No one, I said it before the lesson started, no one can lift God's throne. And every time you think that you have the power to do something that is within the Most High's authority and outside of yours, imagine yourself trying to lift God's throne. You can't. You can't get close enough to clean it, let alone lift it. Even Moses had to see even Moses had to see the Most High's throne from far away. He couldn't get close. You can't even get close, let alone thinking that you can lift it, that you can comprehend what's happening on the external. All you can say when things happen on the external is good. Good. Why? Because if I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, it's going to work out for my good. So good. Instead of thinking that you can control it, instead of thinking that you can control people, instead of thinking that you can control things, instead of thinking that you can control scenarios. That's why your burden's heavy. That's why you're tired. That's why your mind is weak. That's why your heart is weak. Understand, you're going to need for your burden to be as light as possible to be prepared for what's coming. What's coming is heavy enough for you to be carrying things that you can't even begin to solve on your own. Our burden is lightened when we relinquish that control. When we become docile, we relinquish control and allow the Most High to work for and through us. Same thing goes with sisters. The main thing, the reason you want to know why the sister in the Deuteronomy 28, we know the curses concerning the sister in Deuteronomy 28. You want to know why she was so stressed? You want to know why she was so angry? Because she was carrying a burden that belonged to a man that wasn't there. That's why she had that attitude. That's why she was angry. That's why she was hurt. Because you're carrying a burden that doesn't belong to you. Stop trying to do a job that's not yours, and all of that will be gone. All of that will be gone. Let him do his job. You do yours, and both of you have rest. Both of you will receive rest because now you've both placed it in the Most High's hands. The power we possess was granted to us by him, but we must be mindful that we do not use that power outside of his authority or we'll lose it. Take your rest in the Most High so that he can work on our behalf. If you're too busy doing things, it's impossible for somebody to work for you. Think about it. Think about it. If I call somebody in to do something for me, hey man, I'm doing an event. I'm a chef by trade. So if I'm doing an event and I decide, you know what, I'm not gonna work this event. I'm gonna let them handle it. But I want to be all up in everything and all around this. And yeah, you got to do it like this. You got to mix it like that. You got to. That chef is gonna be like, bro, did you hire me to do this or not? If it's a real chef, he's just gonna pack his grip and walk. We're doing the same thing to the Most High. You can't say, oh yeah, the Most High's will be done. Thy kingdom come, your will be done. Work in us. Use the Holy Spirit. But yeah, you all up in the kitchen. Get out the way. You can't say that you want him to work on your behalf, but you're not giving them space to work. Your will be done, Lord. And you just in there just messing with everything. Matthew chapter 10, verse 18.
Matthew chapter 10, verse 18. And ye shall be brought before governors and kings for my sake.
Getting down to the point. You shall be brought before kings and governors for my sake. Read.
For a testimony against them and the Gentiles.
Mm-hmm.
But when they deliver you up, take no thought what ye shall speak.
Mm-hmm.
For it shall be given you in that hour what ye shall speak.
Mm-hmm.
For it is not ye that speak, but the Spirit of your Father which speaketh in you.
Right there. That right there lets you know everything that you need to know. The Most High is always working on your behalf if you let him. Whatever situation, whatever scenario you get in, the Most High knows that you're there. He put you there. Let him work. Let him work. If we're operating in meekness within our own authority, the Most High is going to handle it. He handles everything. But understand, the second you start operating outside of your position, outside of your authority, you have no power and you're vulnerable. Where's the power of the meek? The power of the meek is within your position, within your office, underneath the Most High. That's where your power is. You can have all power, you can have none. Pick. You can have all of it, you can have none of it. Walk in meekness, you'll have all of it. And if the Most High trusts you with all of it, you're going to use it right anyways. Don't worry about how you're going to use it. That is the conclusion of today's lesson. I pray that everyone was edified by this lesson, and I hope you received something different from this topic than something that you've heard before. I remember it was on Thursday, was it? I was sitting there and we were planning on. I was trying to put together another lesson, information for another lesson. It was not coming. I was it was just a complete block, and it was not happening. It wasn't. Nothing was popping. Nothing was popping all week. Every time I sat down and tried to do this topic, and for some reason, I don't even remember how it happened. Somehow we got led to this particular. I got led to this particular spot, this one scripture, and it bunny trailed to where we are now. And it gave me an entirely new perspective on the importance of having a meek spirit and the way that it plays into our society running the way that it's supposed to run, right? And there being the correct checks and balances. If everybody's doing what they're supposed to do, it just works, right? It just works. And that's the way that it's supposed to be, right? So put a one in the chat if you're edified by this lesson. Do we have any questions? Do we have any comments on the lesson? Questions and comments. All praises, all praises. Do we have any questions in the chat? Comments in the chat. Once again, baptism, same thing. If you're in the Central Florida area and you're looking for a body, reach out to the elder directly on the website. For those who are international or anywhere and you're looking to get baptized, go to the website, get registered, send a message stating baptisms - your location, right? That way we can get there. Once again, we will eventually be streaming for our website. So go here to the website, housejudahfellowship.org, and get registered on there, because eventually we will be streaming directly from our own website for the future. Okay. West Africa, we're coming. West Africa, Philippines, we're coming. New Zealand, we are coming. There's a lot of work that needs to be done out there. Good to see you. Good to see you, Brother Ashba. Yes. Shalom, Bishop Michael, House of Judah, Philippines. Shalom, shalom. Do we have no comments in the room? No questions, no comments, no concerns?
This one right here.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's one of the quotes.
Oh, okay.
And then it says, it also teaches you to be content, which keeps you from falling into exactly. It teaches you to be content. That's absolutely correct. Because so often we're uncomfortable with what we have, where you don't make the best of what you have. You don't get the most out of it. The Most High put you there to get the most out of where you are and what you have. But if you're too busy focusing on where you are and where you're not, it's impossible for you to get the most out of what you out of the situation that the Most High put you in. So he's never going to take you out of it.
That's a good point.
Or elevate you or increase you. Right? If you as the elder, and I'm sure the elder can identify with this as well. As an elder, if there's a bishop or a deacon that's trying to do everything outside of what he's supposed to do, are you going to elevate him?
Why would I?
Because he's not doing his own job.
Exactly.
If you're too busy doing everybody else's, you can't do yours.
Right.
You have to master where you are in order to increase. But if you mess around and find yourself in a place where you haven't, if you find yourself in a place where you haven't moved and the end comes, you're not equipped with the proper tools to survive the hour of temptation, to survive the end. You've already lost. Good to hear from y'all. Please send prayer for me and my family. Praying for you. All praise to the Most High. We'll definitely send you prayers. Reach out to us. You have our numbers. Reach out to us, and we'll see exactly where and how we need to direct our prayers. All right. It's good to hear from you. Hopefully, we can see you very soon as well.
Yeah.
Right.
Good hearing from you.
Do you have anything out there?
No. I think everything is pretty.
All right. All right. Looks good. Looks good.
Pretty good here.
Shalom. Thank you all for coming and spending 2 hours of your Sabbath with us today. We thank you for coming by. We ask that you guys like, share, comment, subscribe to the channel. Share it if this lesson bless you, if this ministry bless you. We have tithes and donations above our heads as well. We appreciate all that you do, and we're glad that the work is getting done. But I'm starving. It's time to eat. All right.
And the water to all of you that hung in there this whole time.
Yeah. All praises, because it's been pretty consistent throughout. So that means that people got edified. That means that people enjoyed the lesson. All praise to the Most High for that. That's all we can ask. All praise to the Most High. Haya Bashim Yeshaya, while we walk. None of this would be getting done without them. So with that, we will say Shabbat Shalom. Get the Most High some praise.
Shalom.